Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have to say, I didn't know which question I was going to be addressing today until about 3 or 4 minutes ago because you guys have sent in some really awesome questions. So many really, really good ones and questions that are big and deep and relevant to a ton of people. So I really appreciate that. And I really just want to encourage you to keep sending in your questions. You can send them to askamy@thelittleschoolofbigchange.com, and I'm choosing one each week. So if you've sent one already, just be patient because there's some really good ones there, and I'm definitely going to address them, respond to them at some point. It might be 2018 before I get there, but I'm getting there because you guys asked some excellent questions. And I just want to say too, if you love these topics and the things that are being addressed here, and you want an opportunity to be in a community where you can ask questions and get responses very quickly before 2018, check out thelittleschoolofbigchange.com because we have an awesome community there. Head over there, jump on the wait list, and you'll hear about the next open enrollment period, and you can be part of our awesome school and community where we talk about this stuff all the time. So let's get to it. Today's question, drum roll. This is the one I chose out of so many awesome contenders. This question is from Michelle, and it's about tickets. I think she said it was a parking ticket. Doesn't matter. I'm going to pretend like it's a speeding ticket because you'll see when we get into the question. So Michelle's writing about tickets, parking, speeding, whatever, and how it really, really looks like they create her feelings. How she can open up a ticket and feel a bunch of stuff, and it sure looks like those feelings are coming from the ticket. And I know we can all relate to that. So let me just read her question. So she says, "Hi, Amy. I struggle with the inside-out paradigm when something jolts me out of a peaceful moment to the next moment, which is a different state of mind, resulting from what looks to me the outside in." So she says, "Receiving a ticket in the mail today with a fine of $500, exclamation point. A ridiculous sum for so many reasons sent me into a downward spiral. While I was able to catch myself on the thoughts that were present," and she names a few of them, "are they," expletive, I won't say that, "joking? How could they expect anyone to pay $500? A speed camera." Okay, it's a speeding ticket. "Ha! They're not making our roads safer, but rather generating income for a company that installs all of these cameras." I think I've had that exact same thought before. "They get more than the police do, making a profit for no value." Blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. Indignation, injustice, anger, fear. Yes. "It appears the thoughts are coming from the experience of opening up a distressing letter." But that can't be, right? So you're absolutely right, Michelle. It totally appears as if those feelings are coming from opening a distressing letter, because that's what we see. That's the visible part of life. We are human beings having this experience in a physical world, and there's stuff happening around us all the time, and our eyes point out there. So we don't see the invisible. It's invisible. We see the visible. We see the ticket. We see, you open this up and you read it, and oh my gosh, and suddenly you're just flooded with anger, indignation, injustice, fear, all of these feelings. But as you're on to, they can't come from a piece of paper. How would that be? How would it happen? Like at what point, how many words would you have to read on the paper for the feelings to start to come from the paper into your body, And if it comes from the paper, comes from reading the letter, it comes from the fact that someone's telling you owe them $500, well, wouldn't everyone have that same experience? And even if they wouldn't, wouldn't you have that same experience from one moment to the next? Yet we kind of intuitively know that, if you open the ticket at one point in time, you're going to have whatever experience you have. And if you open the ticket at another point in time, you're going to have a slightly different experience. It's never the exact same thing time after time. And that's because it's not coming from this. And we aren't obviously just talking about speeding and parking tickets or tickets of any sort. We're talking about all kinds of things, some things that seem much bigger and much more important. You know, when big things happen in life, when we're sick, when people we love are sick, when we lose our jobs, when we feel shame, when we are stuck in an addiction, whatever it might be, that's where our eyes go. You know, that's what we see. And we feel stuff at the same time. And so it absolutely looks to everyone on earth as if that stuff we're looking at that's co-occurring with our feelings, like one is creating the other. And our mind tells us that story. If this wasn't happening, I wouldn't be feeling this way. If you hadn't got your ticket, Michelle, who knows how your day would have gone. But you got that ticket, so it must have, this is our reasoning, it must have created the feelings that we had. Except, as we just looked at, how can it? How can a piece of paper, how can even someone real in your face saying, you owe me $500, how can that get into you and make, force some kind of feeling in you? It can't. It can't. So what we're left with here is looking toward something that's not visible and in our faces. We're looking toward the invisible, which again is hard to see sometimes, but we, all humans, feel our moment-to-moment thinking coming to life within us in each and every moment. Now, that thinking co-occurs with all kinds of stuff out in the world. It co-occurs with opening up a speeding ticket. It co-occurs with seeing, your kid sick on the couch. You see your kid sick on the couch, like I saw this morning, and you feel stuff, and you think, oh, this did it. If this wasn't the case, I'd feel differently, and that's just the way it's always going to look. But there's the invisible factor that's really creating our feelings, which is our thinking. So we feel thought brought to life within us, moment by moment by moment. Now, Michelle, you say in here you felt all kinds of things, injustice and anger and all of this stuff. And yeah, because this energy moves through you like it moves through every single one of us. And thought is brought to life, experience is brought to life, and we feel that. So in that particular moment, from that particular state of mind you were in, opening that particular ticket, you said all the things you said. This isn't right. What a ripoff. This is all about a company. This isn't about safety. And I can't believe they're taking that much money from me. And that's exactly what you felt. And that had nothing to do with that ticket. Now, someone else might have opened that ticket and said, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Why was I speeding? Someone else might have opened that ticket and had a completely different, and you might have opened that ticket and had any of those thoughts. So again, we're just feeling the way that energy, that one awesome life energy moves through us and takes shape as thought and feeling in each and every moment. And it's so helpful to look there toward the invisible, to look there, because when it looks like the circumstance makes us feel the way we feel, and it always looks that way, I get it. It's a huge, very pervasive, very compelling illusion. But when we believe that, when we think that's the case, we're kind of screwed, because now life has to do certain things to make us feel a certain way. Good things have to happen. This has to happen. Things have to line up the way we want them to. And it's exhausting, and it creates anxiety, and it leads to us chasing our tails through life. And you see this. We all have felt this ourselves. Gotta do this, gotta get that, gotta get healthy, gotta get the right job, gotta not speed anymore, gotta write a letter to the government about their speeding ticket rules. Like, we're chasing our tails over and over, thinking, if this can change, then I get to feel the way I want to feel. Well, good news. You don't need that to change, because that didn't make you feel bad. And changing that's not going to make you feel good. We can do things in life, and that's wonderful. But when we can take that out of the equation for how we feel, and we see that we're full of well-being, we have everything we need already. We're just feeling our moment-to-moment thinking brought to life, giving us an experience in that moment of injustice or anger or fear or joy or excitement or whatever it might be. That's a really nice place to rest, because it's all unfolding within us. And it's a lot simpler that way. It's not so complicated. We don't have to figure things out there. That can happen, and we still get to feel however we feel. We still are having this moment-to-moment thought created experience. And there's nothing we need to manage out there. It takes so much off our plates, and so much off our minds, because life gets to just happen the way life happens. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to try to manage it. We're just going to feel thought coming to life within us moment to moment, and that thought's always moving, and it's always showing us things, and it's always changing. And it's just the way energy is taking shape within us. Again, it is not an injustice that you were charged $500 for speeding. That's a thought. It takes a thought to give you that experience. Now, I'm not saying a bunch of people out there in the world might not be thinking, yeah, that's an injustice. That's okay. That's a thought. That's a way we can see things. But it isn't a fact. It's a thought. And it's really, really, really helpful and life-changing to see the difference between those two things. It's not a fact. It's a thought. It's the way it's showing up for you in a moment. And in another moment in time, or for another person, or, another circumstance, you're going to have different experiences. And there's a lot of freedom in that. So I hope this is helpful to you, Michelle, and to a lot of people. Lots and lots of people have questions about this. It really always does look as if life out there makes us feel stuff, and that's okay. It's not about trying to have it not look that way. It's just about getting curious about, well, how can that be? And if that can't be, what else might be going on here? There's this book, and if anyone sees this and knows of this book, please send me a link to it, because I haven't been able to find it. But I think it's a children's book that, and I might be making this up, honestly. This might just be my idea for a children's book. But I swear I saw or heard of a book at one point where it's like they have kids or characters in the book are feeling different things and making guesses as to what it is. So they're feeling something and saying, oh, it feels like the bristles on a broom. And so they're guessing, oh, maybe it's a broom. Or it feels like velvet. And so they're guessing as to what it might be. Or it feels wet, and they guess to what it might be. And they're all feeling this and making all these guesses. And then it zooms out, and it's an elephant. And at one point they're feeling the tail. At one point they're feeling a velvety ear, or maybe they're feeling a wet nose, whatever it might be. They're feeling different parts of this elephant. But because we can only see that little part that's right there for us, they can only feel what's there in your experience. That's all we have to go on. So that's just how it looks. But then you zoom out and you get the bigger perspective, and you see, wow, there's a lot more to this than I thought. And that's us. That's life. That's human life. That's our experience. We open a letter and feel a wave of stuff and say, you must have done this, but it didn't. When we zoom out, we see there's a lot more to life. There's a lot more to the story than just stuff happening and then it making us feel a certain way. And it's an awesome thing to get curious about and to keep seeing more about. If you know of that book, please send me a link to it. And if no one does, I might write it, because I don't know, maybe it was my idea. I swear I saw it somewhere. But anyway, I hope this is helpful. And send your questions to askamy@thelittleschoolofbigchange.com if you want me to address one of your questions. And I do that every Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern. So have a great week, and I'll see you back here next week.